And lastly for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd.
Floyd Money Mayweather and Terence "Bud" Crawford nearly went head-to-head on camera right after Crawford's stunning win over CaneloAlvarez, with security rushing in as entourages clashed and tension filled the ring. No punches were thrown, but the face-off between Mayweather, the legend of the past, and Crawford, the star of today, had fans wondering if the hostility was genuine or just Floyd stirring drama to keep attention on himself. The truth is, after Bud's victory over Canelo, many believe Crawford's legacy has now eclipsed Floyd's, and that's what's really fueling the fire.
You see all these fighters, they're doing a shoulder roll, you see, I mean, yeah. And not knocking the guys that paved the way. And I want to come on record and say, I'm appreciative for guys like Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. So many guys that paved the way for me. But there's only one Floyd Mayweather. These fighters are not better than me. You look at the numbers, they say, oh, Canelo may end up beating more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. Wait, he should? With almost, 80 and 90 fights, he should? I beat more world champions than any fighter in history. I'm 50-0, but half of my fights was world title fights.
For years, Floyd Mayweather ruled as boxing's pound-for-pound king, calling himself TB, the best ever, with an undefeated 50-0 record in victories over Pacquiao, Cotto, Canelo, and De La Hoya. But Crawford's latest triumph has now changed that narrative.
Thank you, GOAT, because you are the GOAT of this era. Terence "Bud" Crawford.
Crawford is now a three-time undisputed champion, still unbeaten, and has conquered 5 weight classes, and unlike Floyd, who is often criticized for handpicking opponents or fighting legends past their peak, Bud just defeated the biggest name in boxing right in his prime division.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Max Kellerman summed it up perfectly. Floyd carefully chose the timing of his opponents, while Crawford has always been willing to take on anyone, anytime, and that's the real difference.
The second half of the fight put an emphasis on the fact that Bud was in fact outboxing him in the first half of the fight. It is one of the biggest wins in boxing history. And now let Uncle Max gather around, children, and I will explain this. This is the situation, guys. No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Forever, the record was 3 by Henry Armstrong. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing.
The stats are close and both have elite resumes. But Crawford's fearless approach to taking risks is what separates him, leaving the boxing world asking one big question. Has Terence Crawford just surpassed Floyd Mayweather?
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. He's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can knock him as well. You know, he's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, you know, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
To understand why this debate is heating up, we need to look back at the Canelo fight, where the main narrative going in was that Crawford was simply too small to compete.
The favorite, Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
Jumping up 2 weight divisions to take on a natural 168-pounder like CaneloAlvarez seemed impossible, but Crawford didn't just hold his own. He outboxed him. He circled, jabbed, countered, and slowly broke Canelo down. And while Canelo landed some heavy body shots, they had little effect. By round 7, Crawford was trading punches and winning the exchanges, and by round 12 the result was clear. The judges scored it unanimously. With that win, Crawford not only proved himself, but also made history as the first fighter ever to become undisputed in 3 separate weight classes.
I saw you before the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. He's a GOAT. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists, you know, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
And with that, Crawford achieved something Floyd never attempted, beating a naturally bigger champion in his own weight class, which many see as the source of Floyd's jealousy. For years, Floyd controlled the narrative, building an empire around the money, brand, and constantly reminding the world of his perfect record.
You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
Now the spotlight has shifted to Crawford, who's being hailed as the new pound-for-pound king, while analysts debate if he's already surpassed Floyd. Fans highlight that Bud took risks Floyd never did, and Floyd clearly isn't pleased. That's why he crashed the post-fight scene, downplayed Crawford's legacy, and started hinting at a fight. He knows Bud's win over Canelo stole his shine, and he wants it back.
How are you feeling to be Chris Eubank's trainer, first of all?
It feels good, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been this trainer before, so...
Yeah, it's good.
It's a no-brainer.
Of course. Congratulations on the win. What's your first reactions to Crawford's victory? One of the greats of this era, right?
Oh, definitely that. You know that.
What do you want to see him do now?
What I want to do now?
What do you want to see Crawford do next?
Do what he at this point now in his career where he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Who would you like to see him fight? Any names? Is there any names in particular you'd like to see?
It doesn't matter.
What about Canelo? Would you like to see him retire?
I don't. Canelo's not my responsibility.
Okay.
Here's the truth. Terence Crawford doesn't need Floyd Mayweather, and fans should recognize that Floyd has always stepped in only when it suited his own interests. Crawford was never chasing Floyd's legacy. In fact, he's always shown respect for it. Crawford even trained with Floyd in the past, calling him an influence. But instead of celebrating Bud's achievement after beating Canelo, Floyd tried to downplay it, saying Canelo wasn't that good instead of praising Crawford for making history. That's classic Floyd, always guarding his own shine. And it's not just Crawford. Look at Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd built Tank up, used his name to promote him, but the moment Tank wanted to stand on his own, Floyd cut him down and tried to reclaim the spotlight. It's the same playbook every time. When a fighter threatens Floyd's status, he shifts the narrative.
He gave you the spotlight, like why would he try to diminish your career? Because at that time, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to bring up mine. But it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchat.
That's why many fans see it as jealousy. Crawford wasn't targeting Floyd. He was pushing the sport forward, but Floyd just can't accept someone else taking the torch.
I thought Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
For years, Floyd's argument was straightforward. He was the pay-per-view king and the biggest attraction in boxing.
For the fighter of the decade, I'm the fighter of the last century, honestly. and it's a reason why I'm the best fighter of the last 100 years. The credentials show it. And I went out there and showed it. What's better than going out there, being world champion for what, 20 years? Box office, I got the record. Pay-per-view, I got the record. It's better to win 5 world titles than 4 at one particular time.
But now Crawford is showing he can do the same, as the Canelo fight wasn't just historic, but also a massive box office success. Streamed worldwide on Netflix, filling the stadium, and drawing millions of viewers to become one of the most watched fights in the past 2 decades.
I thought Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
Crawford has shown he's not only the pound-for-pound best, but also the new box office king, capable of selling out stadiums, carrying pay-per-views, and headlining major fights anywhere in the world.
Were you so emotional afterward? Is it that you just realized everything that you achieved? The moment just hit you then?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's just, the history, behind the sport is just everything that, I trained for my whole life. It all was, coming out that one night. That was all paying off. You have a lot of people that, adopted this narrative that Terence Crawford can't sell, Terence Crawford is not marketable, and they push the narrative to the public, and that's all people write about. Oh, Terence Crawford can't do this, Terence Crawford can't do that. But anyone in Terence Crawford fights, you see a sold-out crowd, but they wasn't talking about that. They was talking about how, marketable I'm not, and that kind of was hurting my career because, a lot of people was looking at me and said, oh yeah, they say he's not marketable. Oh, they said he's not, don't have a personality, things like that, because I didn't want to do things their way. I didn't want to put on a show. I didn't want to disrespect my opponents when they wasn't disrespecting me. Right. I wasn't, I'm not a guy that, wear jewelry for no reason. Just the things that I didn't want to do that they wanted me to do. They go out there and say, oh, well, they lost money on me. It's just crazy though to see me headline, not one of the largest attending fight in American history. In American history.
And that's exactly why Floyd is shaken. Because Crawford isn't just taking over in the ring, he's taking over outside it, too. So why did Floyd nearly square up with him live? The answer is simple: money and relevance. Even in retirement, Floyd has stayed in the spotlight with exhibitions against YouTubers, kickboxers, and MMA fighters. But none of those bouts carried real legacy. A clash with Crawford would be different. It would be the biggest exhibition ever, with the storyline already built in. The undefeated legend versus the undefeated king. Old school versus new school. The man who calls himself TB against the man many now see as greater.
I know how you is. You be sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boy, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting. Yeah. I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
Boy, you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll beat his ass. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
For Floyd, this is about cashing in and grabbing the headlines again, which is why he stirred the controversy and nearly went face-to-face with Crawford. He wants to bait Bud into one last mega payday. But the twist is, Crawford isn't interested. He's always respected Floyd as a legend and one of the greatest ever, but he knows a fight with him adds nothing to his legacy. Floyd is 48, long past his prime, and hasn't fought at the highest level in nearly a decade. If Bud wins, critics will shrug and say Floyd was too old, and if Floyd somehow wins, it'll be dismissed as a fluke. Either way, Crawford gains nothing.
I have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to be Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you? Keyshawn beat Tank?
Keyshawn beat everybody. Him and Shakur.
How you feel about them not fighting each other? That's cool?
Yeah, that's cool. They don't need to fight each other.
Was there anybody ever...
They can beat up everybody else.
Was there anybody ever like that in boxing with you? Because not really Sean Porter, right?
No friends in this business for you. I think Tim Bradley would have been like that.
Okay.
I think me and Tim Bradley would have been like that. I wouldn't have fought Tim.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But you
Floyd, yeah, because I wasn't as close. Me and Floyd close now, but when Floyd was boxing, I wasn't as close with Floyd like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to be Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you?
I think you got your answer there.
Nah, I didn't hear nothing. Is Floyd better than you? Some fighters say, even like Gervonta Davis.
Beat your
ass? Okay, that's a no. That's a no.
That's why Crawford isn't chasing Floyd. He's focused on his own legacy, whether that means defending his titles, moving up to middleweight, or retiring undefeated. For him, fighting Floyd isn't history, it's just business, and Bud has never been about clout. The truth is, Floyd is stirring controversy to sell a fight that only benefits him. Crawford is at his peak, ruling boxing, while Floyd is the retired legend reaching for one more spotlight. Their near brawl wasn't real hostility, it was promotion, because Floyd knows controversy sells, sparks debate, goes viral, and keeps his name alive. But in the end, Crawford doesn't need Floyd. He's already surpassed him in the eyes of many.
They were saying that if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
top
10?
10 or top 15, easily, you know? There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks, you know. But the punching, the output that he was giving Canelo, definitely gave him the win.
The real fight here is the story itself. Floyd's legacy versus Crawford's, the old GOAT against the new king. After beating Canelo, Crawford officially took the torch, whether Floyd likes it or not. He's now a 3-division undisputed champion, the pound-for-pound #1, selling out stadiums and dominating pay-per-view, with many saying his legacy already outshines Floyd's. Floyd, on the other hand, is chasing money, headlines, and relevance, not legacy. Crawford doesn't need him. He's already made history, and fighting Floyd wouldn't add anything new. What do you think? Should Crawford respond to Floyd's callouts or leave the past behind and focus on his future? Share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe to Punchfield.